What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to episode 10 of the 1760 Jet Rebuild. Hey, my eyes are over here. What are you looking at? That's right, soak it all in. We've got a lot of stuff to bolt down today, mount, and get ready because this thing is ready to go back to its owner tomorrow. So, all right, here goes the short attention span rundown. Bilge pump, bilge fitting, 6 seat bases, hydraulic steering, hydraulic hose, battery cables, battery breaker, 60 amp, a common rail ground, a battery shutoff, a 4-bank battery charger, as well as 2 rubber latches for these back lids. Over there we have a windshield, some bilge pump and aerator hose, okay, 40-gallon fuel tank, Mick tuning rock lights, steering wheel, Mr. Bubbles aerator. Over here, going into console, okay, here is our helm, which is the hydraulic pump for hydraulic steering. That is a timer for the aerator. One way will be on, the other way will be 30 seconds on, and then rest for 3 minutes, and 30 seconds on again. Fuse panel for everything, all right? Everything in this boat gets fuses, and they all will be right there. Don't do inline fuses, do fuse panels. Here is some really nice aluminum switch panels, as well as a Sierra fuel gauge, and then some knockoff Carling switches. Moving forward, the control box. Okay, we had to lengthen the umbilical since not everybody knows. When we started this build, the console was right back there. We moved it up 5 feet and over 3 feet. And then we come to find out we were about 4 feet short. So we lengthened our umbilical 6 feet. We also got longer control cables for our fitment. And then these are white cap lid latches. Okay, we've got 6 of those. Driving lights, what some people refer to as totally illegal lights. We'll have a video about that someday. 4-inch HID drivers, boys. And then right here we got our LED navigation lights that will go on either side of our little driving box, which is looking sexy. Aerator live well fittings. Instead of a spray bar, we went with a spray nozzle that will increase room in the live well, as well as minimize destruction of the nozzle or spray bar. Helix 7, mounting tab, transducer, and then a hockey puck for the GPS lockdown on our Tarova Minn Kota trolling motor right there. We slid our little fuel fill up here, okay. I like these particularly because they actually have the vent built into them, so you don't have to mount a vent, you just mount that, and that serves as both. That's it. That's the entire boat in 3 minutes. All we got to do is mount it. At the end of day 1, I think we're doing just fine. So here is our latches. Okay. A little extra pull down power there. This that slight little noise will go away once we put the turf on. Didn't do a whole lot back here today. Okay. But as you can see as we go forward, we've got our rock lights mounted up here in the corners. Okay, looking good. Up and out of the way. We didn't drill our holes. We didn't run any wires. All we did was mount things today. And honestly, that was quite a bit of work. Now, we put our fuel tank in there, and before I got in a hurry to put mounting plates on the fuel tank and everything, I wanted to see if there was a way that I could just wedge it in there with a shelf. And lo and behold, here's what we ended up with, folks. That's a 2-inch deep by 24-inch wide pan. Okay, lots of wires and stuff laying in there right now. But over on the left, we got our Mr. Bubbles that will be, you'll be able to put 2 5-gallon buckets up underneath here. Okay, keep your bait in the shade and keep it aerated, as well as our Mick Tuning Bluetooth driver. Okay, that's open on this side. That way, you know, it should connect easily. And then we got our fuse panel right back over in there. And then up here that you can't see, we went ahead and mounted the timer for our aerator. That will actually be underneath of our control panel or our control box. Okay, I did not want to drill a whole bunch of rivets in here, and just like I said, I actually got away with 2 rivets, one on each side for the shelf, and then the other rivets that I put inside there are actually on the back side of this, but below this deck, so nothing else is showing. Okay, keeps it nice and clean. And speaking of clean, you can see the front deck is missing a lot from what we started with about 6 hours ago. So let's just start right here. Navigation lights. Okay, now navigation lights, you're supposed to be able to see 270 degrees. We're not going to quite get that, but they're there. Okay, and they will be brighter than normal. Directly straight on, not really going to have any, but at any angle at all, okay, you'll be able to see your green there, and you'll be able to see your red over here on this side. So should be fine. Our 4-inch HIDs are nice and tight, and as you can see, I run the bolts through the top. Typically I don't do that. Any other boat I've ever built, I have run them through the bottom, but this deck is so tight, and you guys remember from past episodes of me getting up inside there is absolutely no way for you to be able to reach that. So I just went ahead and run them through the top. I'm going to grind them off, cut off the majority of that, and hopefully I can find an acorn nut. I don't know if I'll be able to find an acorn nut in the metric or not, but we'll try. As you can see, everything else is missing off the front deck. We went ahead and put our fittings in for our aeration. Okay, there's our spray nozzle, and then went ahead with our drain plug as well. See what that looks like in here. Not a whole lot different, aside from we got a spray nozzle over here instead of a spray bar that took up like 14 inches of space. So, step in the right direction there. This, just like you saw previously, now has rivets in it, and again, one of my favorite pieces from Perco. Hey guys, welcome back. Let's go ahead and look and see how we're doing here battery wise. So as you can see, we've got 4 batteries, and these are just wet cell batteries. The 3 in the back are a 31 class, okay, and the one in the front is a 24 class. The 24 would be a starting and a deep cycle battery, okay, dual purpose. That is just designated for the engine and for the interior accessories. So our micro switch right up here on the top, that will completely kill everything in the boat. You see we've got just 2 wires coming out on the bottom side right here. One of those goes to the engine, and one of those goes up to our console and will supply power to our fuse panel. Now, since everything in the boat will go directly through the fuse panel, and almost everything that we're plugging in will be less than 5 amps, that's the best way to be able to monitor all of those different circuits. As you can see, we've got these back 2 jumpered, okay, so they are in a series. We've got dual capacity on that circuit, and then the single by itself. Both circuits will go through these 60 amp breakers, and these breakers are not only, you know, protection, but they're also you can see it's tripped right now because the little flag is out. All you do, is flip the flag in, and that's a live circuit. If you want to shut that off, just hit the button on top, and that'll knock that breaker out. The reason we did this is so we're going to add 10 48-watt LEDs for bow fishing, as well as he has the 12-volt Tarova, but he's not going to be bow fishing all the time. On the front of the boat, instead of doing a typical trolling motor plug-in, we're going to do Anderson connectors. Now, I love Anderson connectors because they are super reliable. You never have to worry about a loose connection with an Anderson connector. So I tend to use them in all of my boats. But in this scenario, he'll have two Anderson connectors, one on top, one on bottom, okay, number 1 and number 2. Number 1 will mean that it's one battery, and number 2 will mean that it's 2 batteries. And he can actually determine which system that he wants to run on that particular day based on his needs. Welcome back, guys. A couple days later, we've come back and we took some older pieces of .80 and we've built these toe plates that we've been talking about. One little section where I had to notch for that little piece of angle right there. It's not going to cover our holes. I could have made these giant, but I wanted to make them, as small as possible. You see all 4 of these holes are going to be like that or worse. It's not really a big deal, but it's a little upsetting to me because I wasn't planning on that. You can see maybe I took the easy way out, and I deburred those, so shouldn't have to worry about nicks and it eating into hose and wires and things of that nature. But we've already got this side in, and I think I put like 6 rivets in that, just on the side. Got a little seam right there in the middle. Yes, it's not painted. I think I'll leave the outside bare and then put a little piece of turf right on top of it just to keep the glare down, and it'll be all right. I need to acetone wipe all my surfaces for this next part. This is Black Tip Jet Sports EVA foam, and it also has a 3M backing. Okay, I've done HydroTurf. eBay gonna be about $67 a roll. Each roll is 40 by 80. Plan on losing a little bit because quality is not perfect, but I think they advertise it as like 38 by 79 anyway. So just plan on a little trim, and always order an extra sheet when you can order it. Cut it oversized. Okay, see, we're gonna be close to getting that one lined up, but everything overlaps. All right, so the goal, when I start, I'm going to start on this corner. I'm going to line this corner up. I will go across, lay this down across, and then with it flipped back over this way, I will start peeling the rest. I'm going to start with like 6 inches peeled off. I'm going to peel the rest out from underneath and roll it that way. All right. You really don't need to pull on it or tweak it or yank on it or anything like that. It's more or less make sure that it's square when you start. Hold it up with one hand, peel the backing off with the other, and lay it down. Now, when we get down to here, we will stop and we will attempt to hold this up, and I will cut this U out, okay, to go around that. I don't want to cut it now because you want that to fit tight, and then I would have to start here, and then any slightest little movement angle wise would make that off in the back. Okay, so let's just get this set up and I'll show you what it looks like. So our bow fishing lights aren't what I'm used to. I'll put it that way. But we'll still kill lots of fish, okay? And we can put yellow film on there if we want to. It's just different than what I'm used to. But, you know, once again, an ultra lightweight setup, a handful of bolts in 20 minutes, and a guy can totally remove that, no problem. Mick Tuning rock lights are doing their deal. I've just got them on color changing mode right now. Any color of the rainbow, and these are RGBWs, okay, so you can also turn them to a pure white. These things are a lot of fun, and for what they cost, they're just awesome. And I'm going to continue to put them on everything that floats. You can see the 4 LEDs are not only lighting up the steps very, very well, they also light up the bottom of the boat very, very well. Our cooler, our molar cooler, okay, with our rock lights, you can see that you can determine what kind of beer you're getting out of there, because we all know a river boat's got to have beer in it. So with the lights on, you can see the overall look that we went for. Being a river boat, being an outdoorsy hunting guy, okay, you can't go wrong with black and camo. So our Helix 7 mounted right there where it needs to be, and eye level of me just sitting here, okay, eye level, that's what you're going to get. All right, so plenty of room to be able to see over top of everything, as well as, you know, stay behind the windshield. That's just handy. Standing up. All right. I'm 5'11". This is standing up. It's awesome. There's the access to, you know, more storage. Again, that goes all the way across. Let's if I can pull this out. Yeah, I can with one hand. Look at there. Okay, so that really gives you a lot of freedom to be able to run the full length of the boat. But these little compartments back here, guys, are really freaking awesome, because it created so much more space on the back of the boat. And for those who know what it's like to, you know, be in a bad situation and need to stand back here, you know, for that certain situation where, you know what I'm talking about. We've all been there, right? It's just handy. Here we go. Here comes the big reveal. What's going on, kids?
Hey. How's it going?
Well, I think it's going pretty good.
Looks nice. Looks nice.
What do you think of that wing ding? Come over that last night. 2 bolts, you can take it off.
Just put rod holders here, you're thinking?
Yeah. So this guy here showed up yesterday, and those are monster rod holders off of Amazon. I think you probably do 3 on each side if you wanted to. It's the perfect height.
I like it.
It's squishy. It feels good on your ass.
Couldn't hardly tell what color it was after you painted it in
Yeah.
the video.
Well,
It's kind of dark. Than what I thought.
It darkened up some. And like I said, I'm not a painter. I have no idea what this paint's going to be like. It looks fine now, and it doesn't scratch bad. But I guess time will tell. I put fittings on everything. The bilge pump hose, I didn't like that thin shit.
Okay.
So I replaced that with thick rubber all the way back. You're throwing stuff in and out of here. But there's still that black goes underneath the live well for a drain. Yeah, it's still black, but that's because that fitting underneath that, it was weird. It was a female deal that they siliconed in, so I put it back in there.
Okay.
But everything else I replaced. I turfed that all the way from port to starboard.
Nice.
There's quite a bit of space there, man.
There is.
And it's all up off the floor. So
yeah, that should be pretty well dry storage there.
Yeah, that should be pretty dry. Just the materials for this build, all right? And I mean everything. Y'all watched episode 1 and saw that we ripped everything out of this hull, okay? Everything that went back into it, all right? Metal, plumbing, wiring, turf, okay, floor coverings, paint, all right, batteries, trolling motor, bow fishing lights, and aluminum. Did I say aluminum? All right. Steering, switches, what else? You get the picture. Everything. All the materials. Oh, don't forget the cooler and the bimini and the seats, okay? All that stuff combined was right about $7,000. Now, that may seem like a big chunk of money, and it is. However, you look at what we've built here for that amount of money, it's pretty cheap, in all honesty. You look at what a comparable package, okay, first of all, it'd be very hard to find a comparable package with the quality of items that we've put into this boat, but you find a package of this size of, you know, that has the magnitude of the items that we've got here, and you're going to be spending probably twice as much just for the hull than what we've got here today. So take from this that the sky's the limit, all right, when it comes to boating. If you want to build something that you can't find in a pamphlet somewhere, if you want to do the work yourself, then you're only limited by your drive to do so. Now, I've been doing this for a while, and obviously this is not my first boat build. This took me 7 weeks, all right? Now, full disclaimer, I wasn't working on it that hard for 7 weeks. I did a little fishing, did a little hunting, did a little, you know, vacationing in between there. We had lots of downtime waiting on some parts, all right? And I painted, I'm not a painter, so I had to do a little bit of research and attempt, you know, one of my first few painting jobs. But you can see what we turned out with, all right? And honestly, I think we did really, really well. Now, if you want to build something like this, and let's just, you know, say that your experience level is going to take you even longer. If this takes you 14 weeks or 14 months, who cares? At the end of the day, it's all about being able to say, I built that. The whole reason I wanted to share this playlist and show the complete destruction and complete rebuild of an old boat is to show you at home all the things that I do here that with a little bit of love and a little bit of time and effort, you're perfectly capable of at home. Now, there will be hurdles, just like our extension, just like our wiring. Some of that I didn't even show or talk about. But that's what social media is for. That's what, Facebook groups are for. That's what I'm here for. Hurdles are just part of a project. You have to accept that going in. Time is a big one, all right? Don't start a build now in April with no experience, and then sooner or later you turn around and it's August and you're not done yet. So plan your builds ahead of time. That way when it comes fishing season, you're ready. Guys, my name is Dustin and this is White River Rambo Customs. I hope you all have clicked the subscribe box and you will enjoy some of my previous 300 uploads, or maybe the next 300. Y'all stay safe. Shoot straight, shoot often. Don't forget to wear the personal flotation devices. And hey, you just might see me on the water somewhere.